A while back, I hopped on Substack and asked a simple question. In your opinion, what is religion? As of the recording of this post, I've received nearly 60 responses which offer a wide array of perspectives. Some people suggested that religion is a way to respond to human suffering, or it's a buffer against fear or a way to cope. Others focused on the communal and spiritual aspects of religion, saying that it is a system of ideas founded on supernatural beliefs, or a form of tribalism which share similar ideas about the way the world works and how to live within it. Some implied that religion was archaic, outdated, and even harmful, a way to deceive and mislead people. A few suggested that it is housed within a single religious tradition, and others had fun, creative, and rather insightful interpretations, such as religion is Wi Fi with too many passwords, or it's a neurotic, hairless bipedal primate. I thought that one was fun. I study and write about religion, and while I have a specific area that I spend most of my attention on, I'm also interested in religion as a general concept. Earlier this year, I wrote a piece on ancient cave art created by Homo sapiens and questioned whether or not we should understand it as something religious. Where does the religious impulse come from? And has it always been part of our lives? These types of questions fascinate me, and I don't think I'm alone in this. So, to return to our question, what is religion? Of course, this is not actually a simple question, and scholars of religion spend a good deal of time trying to define and categorize what it is that we are studying. Part of my thinking behind asking this question on Substack was to demonstrate the multiplicity of definitions that exist out there, many of which are not only differing, but even contradictory. The esteemed sociologist of religion, Robert Bellah, once defined religion as a system of beliefs and practices relative to the sacred that unite those who adhere to them in a moral community. The late philosopher Daniel Dennett said that religions are social systems whose participants avow belief in a supernatural agent or agents whose approval is to be sought. And Brent Nongbree, on the other hand, sees religion as a modern construct, one that's imposed on historical people and actions which were not actually understood as religious at the time. Almost any other scholar we might quote or turn to would have a slightly different interpretation, so we can see that the comments I shared at the beginning of the video are representative of a larger trend. And I think it's important to note that while turning to expert opinions for a definition can be helpful, we must also give space for definitions outside of academia. I think this is a relevant question for all of us today because religion, however we might define it or however closely we might be associated to it personally, finds its way into our lives in various ways, be it through our attempts to construct shared values or political systems, or our cultural lexicon, which, even in increasingly secular areas, is imbued with religious themes and motifs. Is religion a distinct category apart from the rest of social life, as the post Enlightenment world would often have us believe, or is that separation more of a functional decision for modern nation states, rather than a representation of reality? In other words, might we be participating in something religious when we attend a sporting event, or sing along with a crowd at a Taylor Swift concert, or when we are creating art, or being part of a book club? Our definitions of religion are bound up in our experiences and in our historical and cultural context. Perhaps there are some definable features of religion that we can point to, but locating these can be difficult and at times reductionist. It seems to me that when we ask, what is religion? The question itself and any answers we give are products of our subjective positionality. There certainly are some commonalities to be found across various definitions that we give, but I believe that we ask this question not to come to a final and definitive answer, but to continually reflect on what it is that we are studying as scholars and what it is that we are all experiencing as humans. Thanks for watching.